I don't know about you boys, but I was telling Belle, it's kind of days sometimes you just wish I worked in sports.
Yeah.
You know? It is, it's actually fitting. It's 9/11. Because there's that kind of feel. You know what I mean? Little shock, little numbness.
And a worry about what's next.
Yeah. It is, It is. I don't think people realize, some people out there do, but maybe an older generation, because they saw Charlie and Fox. But the way he had with the younger generation, I spent last night. First of all, I did like a gazillion shows. Didn't go to bed. I got up at 12:30 or whatever, and go to bed till about 10:30. Didn't leave my studio till about then. And on top of that, in between, I was talking to my little brothers and sisters who have all grown up with Charlie. In fact, he was the big reason my brother is really into politics. It's a huge reason for that. And my sister and my brother-in-law. I mean, that's, because, and if you're, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we're a little older than probably his audience. And his reach amongst the youth. And I tweeted this today, and I mean it wholeheartedly. I think without Charlie, Trump doesn't get to the White House. And it had nothing to do with just the last election cycle. When they started that back in, 2012? When they started that, him and I think, was his name Bill Montgomery, and they started doing this thing, it was a grassroots thing built, and he doesn't get enough because of the, was he a provocateur at time? Of course. Did he entertain and put mustard on stuff? Absolutely. Welcome to the world that everybody lives in. But you know what he did that he doesn't get the credit for? Is Turning Point USA, is building that thing there that gave voice to everybody. Not just the right, but the left. Not just people who are believers in God, but I watched something, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, where he has a debate with a Satanist. And it was fascinating. And a lot of the guys and some gals in our business, when they go out and do these kind of things, they're looking for clicks, likes, when they're trying, they may do it for 2 hours taking, people on stage and they debate them back and forth. They're looking for stuff that they could do and embarrass and look like they've won something. Charlie was never like that. Charlie treated everybody cordial. Charlie treated everybody in a way that's what our founding fathers want. What do you have to say? Let me see if my ideas are better than your ideas. Let's debate it. And he was always open to listening, which is so important. And it was, because yesterday we had Scott on it, and it just happened. So Spicky's on here. He comes on, and it really just was breaking, like the break before we came. And then that whole time, we weren't sure what was going on. We weren't sure what was going on. And then finally, I had gotten home, and I had to go live and redo my shows and everything. And he had passed away. And it was my wife came in. My wife's not very political. And the tears that were coming down because of who he was, because my wife is very, very, she's in the Bible all day. She saw not a person who had a voice in politics, but she saw a believer. She saw a man of faith. She saw a husband and a father get taken away. And it upset her, because one of the things, his pastor out there in Arizona did like a live yesterday. And one of the things that he talks about is they text every day. And it was very interesting, because the last text he shared, essentially, because I don't have it pulled up here, is Charlie was kind of moving away from the politics because he wanted to, his faith was the thing. He wanted to be more about the faith. He was almost looking to do, what can I do to bring young people to the Lord? What can I do now that I've done this? What can I do? And a couple weeks ago, he was on a podcast, and they asked him actually about this.
How do you want to be remembered? I mean, if I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
Most important thing is my faith. And he wanted to move in that direction. There is no doubt in this country right now, we have a political divide that is, I've done so many interviews and talked to so mmany people about this in the last 15, 18 hours. I said, before me, you may have to go back to like the 60s, 68. You had some of those things, the Medgar Evers and the, Malcolm X and of course MLK, and you can start going on. But that kind of political assassination and that kind of tension that was palpable. I must have talked to several people yesterday as they thought they're going to go get armed and go do something. I'm like, first and foremost, you're upset because people are celebrating Charlie being shot and being killed. You know what Charlie would say? It's the right to do so. And trying to do something that you think you need to do as some sort of payback in Charlie's name, he wouldn't want that. That's not who he was. Because the minute you do that, you cross a line. And, you'll probably hear this all day. Did we cross the Rubicon? Did we get to a point where we crossed something here where we went from day to night? I'd like to think we did. But it's unsettling out there. The emails I got, the text I've been getting on my national show and stuff, it is unsettling. I was telling Belle, my uncle, who is, first of all, love him to death, little emotional at times, very much on the right, very huge, not just in size, and he'll tell you that, but huge in love. He loves Charlie. And he was so upset and so angry. And I was texting him at 3 a.m. I told Belle, I finally had to get him off the subject by sending him hundreds of funny kitty videos and weird animal videos to make him laugh because he was so angry. And it was a visceral anger. And I'm like, dude, I get it. But the minute you give into something like that, his thing that he was building, his thing that he was working for, his love of the Constitution, his love of, first and foremost, being a peacekeeper, being a Christian, a man of faith, his love of all of those things in America, the minute you give into that, all of that stuff goes away. He built something that is going to get stronger. He built something that is going to blossom and bloom in ways that he couldn't imagine. And to do something because you think it's in his name that we need to know. You need to do is carry on. We need to go out there. We need to talk about the things that we differ in and have cordial conversations, see people as human beings. Understand that we don't see eye to eye in everything. Even people who agree don't see eye to eye in everything. We live in the greatest country in the world, and the number one thing we have when it comes to our Constitution, right there, that First Amendment, that thing right there, is the pressure valve. You got to take the pressure off. And we need to do that. That's what he was doing. He wanted debate. He wanted conversation. He wanted to go out and speak to people and have them give their ideas to him and vice versa. I mean, am I right or am I right?
You're right, man. I mean, he wanted everybody out of their echo chambers. And I think that's one of the reasons we're where we at today. We are where we are at today. Is everybody has just retreated into, just being comfortable because I don't want to hear somebody else's opinion.
Yeah. When I came on the station, I'm independent as it gets, right? I've got some ideas over here, some ideas over there. I love everybody. I do, right? From the wackadoos out there that we always joke about to the hardcore mag, I love everybody and I love their ideas. And I want us to have an exchange of ideas. I want us not to be afraid to have our ideas challenged. And maybe if our ideas don't stand the test of what we think they should because we didn't have all the information or we were given partial information or somebody even lied to us, that we can stand up and be big enough to go, oh, there's something else. That's why he did this. That's why he did this. And you want the definition of terrorism is what this was. Terrorism is using the means of violence to change government policy, using that as a fear. This is what this is. You can't let them win. And having conversation, having vigorous debate, learning about other people, seeing people as a neighbor, as a citizen of Earth, till the aliens come. That's important. We don't see each other that way. We don't hang out. We don't commune with one another. We're afraid. We're afraid of everything. We got a younger generation who was raised, in this way where mom and dad did everything for them. They never faced really any difficulties. And when they did, they didn't know what to do. So they lash out like babies. We've got a mental illness problem in this country. And it's not just somebody on the street who's hooked on drugs and stuff. It's people that are struggling weekly because they've put so much craziness in their world of identities and been told thousands of different things. And no, we need a reset and we need a conversation. We need to take the temperature down in this country. Because we still are that beacon of hope. We still are all of those things. We still are all of those things that Charlie thought we should be. And we need to be. We do. And I think the more that we take a step back and say, what else can we take away from this besides strengthening Turning Point, bringing younger people into debate and conversations and that stuff? What else can we do? It is about getting back to being human again, humanizing one another. We've got to do that. Too much discourse out there, too much that is more about show and less about reality. A lot of stuff to get to today. Would you take your text? I'll get up there on a little bit in the text thing. We've been doing a lot of stuff around here. My wife sent a picture of Chris because she was watching on the YouTube. I said, you should watch Chris. And she sent a picture. She goes, I can't watch Chris anymore. She goes, make me cry. She goes, give him a big hug for me. And I said, I will. That guy's the salt of the earth. I'm telling you guys right now, he is hurting. And he did a hell of a show today. That was amazing. It was. A lot of stuff we're going to get to. We're going to talk about 9/11. We're going to talk about where we were and could the disaster happen again? Not could the terror attack happen again? Could we happen the way we happened again after 9/11? Among other things today. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk, 997.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
Protect yourself when it comes to being online. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I got my mom WebRoot, and she actually set it up herself, and my aunt and my mom did. And WebRoot is incredible. 4 million people had their info just stolen from TransUnion. Equifax, just got a settlement from them because they didn't even tell you for months. Sometimes you don't even know these things. Your identity, all of that information, your data, it is so important to protect yourself. And WebRoot does that. And they make it very easy, too. They do, because I had to make sure it was easy for my mom. But she's the kind of person when I figure, you know what, she might fall for there is a soap opera person, give me all your money. So thank goodness for that. So with WebRoot, you've got everything from real-time protection against malware, ransomware, phishing, and all of this stuff that you're like, what's this? Built-in firewall, network monitoring, coverage as well for kids, for adults, for family members, anybody in the house, up to 10 devices and identities. And with this advanced dark web monitoring and up to $1 million in theft-related expense. Don't get caught out. Protect yourself with WebRoot. 50% off right now. WebRoot Total Protection or WebRoot Essentials. Go to webroot.com/Chad. Remember, this offer is only available there. WEBROOT.com/Chad. Live a better digital life with WebRoot. Wellness Institute of Nashville, right now, $12. What is that? Big Daddy Trump special. Comprehensive exams, x-rays if needed. Explain your diagnosis. Go get your back. Go to painisbad.com and find out what they can do for you. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley are going to take care of you. And they're amazing. They've been in the trenches, as I like to say, making sure they get people out of pain. People who've given up, people who say they can't be pain-free. It's no surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers, okay? You're going to wonder why you didn't go there first. Neck pain, back pain, sciatica, slipping and bulging disc, herniated disc, you name it. They're going to help you with it. So call them today, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. Find out what they can do for you. Just $12 right now. Big Daddy Trump special. Get in there. Get your life back. Or check out everything they do at painisbad.com.
Search continues for the person police say they want to talk to in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Also, President Trump has spoken at the Pentagon during one of today's many memorial services marking 24 years since 9/11. And we've got the latest economic reports out today coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I was watching some of Chris earlier, and he's like some of the people trolling and stuff. And it's this business. You know, I was joking yesterday with, I think it was you, right? No, it was Matt. I said, dude, this business, you could say I'm only going to talk about gardening. And somebody would be like, the way you do tulips is wrong. I hate you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. You could say, hi, have a great Monday after a Sunday night. People will come on there and go, yeah, it's easy for you to say white male. You suck. And you're just like, it doesn't matter. People are pissed and angry. And if you want to be pissed and angry at me, and I'm fine with that. It's where we cross the line. This is what happened yesterday. And this anger, you know, we joke about our friend Kylie who says all those crazy things. And I go on there every once in a while and I defend her saying the things that I don't agree with, because there are people go on there and say the most heinous things about her. If you guys don't know who she is, we do White Woman Wednesday, and she says just stuff that it drives us all crazy, but it's fun.
It's comical.
It is.
It's so ridiculous. It's comical.
It is. It's like every white person in the world needs to apologize to every black person because you are racist, even if you're not racist. And if you married a black man or a black woman, it's only because you're racist. And she says stuff like that. The way that people go after her, though, and again, I don't agree with her. She has a right to say it, but also, why do you feel you have to go out and to say horrific things to everybody all the time? When did you get, and Mike Tyson said it best, it's easy to say that when nobody's going to punch you in the face. That world changes when you notice people they're not the same in person as they are on the keyboard warriors. But we've stopped, and maybe a lot of it has to do with our digital side. We've stopped looking at human beings as human beings. You're just X's and O's. Which is, crazy to think. But, and yeah, watching people celebrate this, you just, the algorithms of hate matter.
It's kind of like the song. I mean, it struck me yesterday, that song by Billy Joel. Charlie's assassination is like others back through the years. And I remember Billy Joel's song, in the 80s, We Didn't Start the Fire.
Yes.
I think the fire has evil has always been. But what I think is different now is that social media is now the gasoline.
Yeah, It
is just fueling it.
It is the gasoline and the algorithms. Remember, too, and this is something, it only feeds you what you like.
Right.
And there's that old saying, right? You have a bad steak, you tell 10 people. We are a nation that it can be grumpy, and we like, there's been television stations, I'm sure you've heard this, Ken, who've only wanted to do good news and happy news, and their ratings end up sucking. If it bleeds, it leads. There's something about that kind of rubbernecking doomsday. It's called doom scrolling for a reason. And it is sad that we're in this position where, as we look back, not only on yesterday, but 24 years ago, all of you that were alive, some of you listening may not have been. You were young. Man, you ever talk to somebody about 9/11 and you realize, oh, my old producer, Steve, we're talking about 9/11 one day. He goes, I was 3 or whatever. I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't remember anything. I'm like, it's crazy to think that, right? Because we think all of us, just like we all knew. I wasn't there for Pearl Harbor, but I knew it. So, because I'm not that old. But to think about where we've come in those 24 years, and like you said, that fire's been there, but social media has put it on blast. Big time. We're going to talk about 9/11. In particular, the day after and the subsequent few days after, and what happened to us. Could that happen again after an attack? Because social media has changed everything. If you're missing the show, make sure you grab the podcast. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And the search continues for the person police say is responsible for shooting and killing Charlie Kirk. Federal agents say they have been able to track the movements of a suspect after the shooting. We get more from ABC's Aaron Katursky on what authorities say they found on the gun cartridges.
There was a spent cartridge still in the chamber. There were also unspent cartridges. And when they looked at them, they discovered what law enforcement officials described as writing containing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. That's how law enforcement officials described it. We don't know what that means, and law enforcement officials haven't made clear what that means. They are still working to determine what that means and how it might figure into their investigation.
Yeah, and earlier today, the FBI released photos of the person they say is a person of interest in Kirk's assassination. It appears to be a male person wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap. And President Trump says he will soon posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That is. Trump was speaking at the Pentagon during one of today's many memorial services, marking 24 years since 9/11. And he had this to say about the ongoing struggles for the victims and their families.
In the quarter of a century since those acts of mass murder, 9/11 family members have felt the weight of missed birthdays and empty bedrooms, journals left unfinished and dreams left unfulfilled.
Yeah, the toxic dust and debris at Ground Zero is blamed for respiratory diseases and cancers in many first responders, survivors, and residents to this day. Money News, Jim Ryan has the latest economic reports out today.
In the week ending September 6, 263,000 first-time applications for jobless benefits were filed, a surge of 27,000 from the week before. It's the highest level for initial claims since October of 2021. There are new warnings about the number of people who are falling behind on their auto loans. A new report from the Consumer Federation of America says a record number of people are defaulting on their car notes.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Highs will stay in the 90s and the dry weather pattern continues.
Busy Bees, best price of the year event. Savings are buzzing. And right now, you refer your neighbor, both of you get a $50 credit when you schedule an HVAC maintenance. Here's a great one, too. National Grandparents Day. Well, it's coming up, and guess what? All month they're celebrating. So if you're already a Beehive Club member, you can gift a free Beehive Club membership to one set of grandparents. Just a way of honoring the family. You got great deals when it comes to things like plumbing. Check this out. A new HVAC unit, get a 5-year labor warranty with every purchase for free. For free. And this is the big one right here. With any HVAC repair or scheduled maintenance, you're going to get a free dryer vent cleaning. What? That's right. Protect your home. Breathe easier. That's always nice. And do it with Busy Bee. Call them now. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 775-7833 or visit busybhvac.com. That's 775-7833. Hope you guys are doing well today. Talk a lot about Charlie. Also talk about what happened low those many years ago. It's hard to believe that it's almost been a quarter of a century. When you put it that way, it makes you feel really old. Everybody remembers certain things. I think we're all going to remember where we were yesterday. You know, I was at home when I was a kid when Reagan got shot. The Challenger blew up. Remember when Reagan got shot? You just kind of looked at me, Bell, like you don't even remember that.
Yeah, I was in school, so how old were you?
Oh, I was home pretending to be sick.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
Well, it probably, were you living in California?
Yeah.
You probably hadn't gone to school yet.
No, I don't.
'Cause I was in first period here in, I was in Central Time in East Texas, and I was in first period in the 7th grade when it happened. I remember the principal coming over the intercom.
What'd they say?
Basically, the principal came on and said students and staff just want to, basically just want to let you know that the president of the United States has been shot in an attempted assassination. And I remember some kids in the classroom started clapping.
Really?
And the teacher immediately admonished all of them and said,
Wow,
we ain't doing that.
What grade were you in?
I was in the 7th grade.
Wow. That seems a little politically active at that age to be that angry.
Well, they were probably just listening to their parents.
Or probably going, oh, my God, we're going to go home. Because there was a lot of that, right? Certain things.
Yeah.
And I think everybody remembers, if you're old enough, where we were on this day.
We are back at 9 o'clock Eastern time on this Tuesday morning, and we're back with dramatic pictures of an accident that has happened just a short time ago. You're looking at the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, where just a few minutes ago we're told that a plane, some reports are that it was a small commuter plane, crashed into the upper floors of one of the Twin Towers. You can see fire and flames or smoke billowing from that tower. There is a gaping hole on the north side of the building. That's the side you're seeing to the left-hand side of your screen right now, and other damage to the west side of that building, which is to the right side of your screen. This, of course, happened just before the morning commute, before people were heading into their offices, and while I'm sure some people were already at work, immediately there's speculation or cause for concern. This is the World Trade Center that was the center of a terrorist bombing some years ago. So the questions have to be asked, was this purely an accident, or could this have been an intentional act?
So that's how it started. Remember that? And they had the helicopters flying around, and they were trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Because a lot of people thought it was a small Cessna or something.
Yeah.
And then within seconds, it changed.
Matt, I've never seen any. It looks like a movie. I saw a large plane, like a jet, going immediately headed directly into the World Trade Center. It just flew into it, into the other tower, coming from south to north. I watched the plane fly into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast. It went past the Ritz-Carlton Hotel that's being built in Battery Park. It flew right past it, almost hit it, and then went in.
This is so shocking, of course, to everybody watching.
I've never seen anything like it. It literally flew itself into World Trade Center.
Obviously now we move from what appears to have, there it is right there.
Again, I'm looking from south to north, and it went into the one on the right.
That appeared to be at least a 727. We saw it a second ago. Here comes the videotape that we just showed you. You will see what appears to be a large plane. It could be a 727 right there, maybe even bigger, flying right into the side of the World Trade Center.
It was at least a 727.
And then that's when our world changed. I mean, it changed because, we had Beirut, we had, several Kenya, we had several places that had been hit that were not on our soil. Just a few months earlier, it's kind of when people started to pay attention, or at least heard the name Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda because of the USS Cole got bombed. And it was, it changed because we'd never had that on our soil. Right, that wasn't something we had. We've had the terrorists that tried to blow it up before, the blind sheikh, but that didn't. He was here. We had obviously we'd had terrorism in the form of the likes of, Timothy McVeigh and stuff blowing, but nothing like this. And we watched it. We watched it. And I remember, I think many of you guys probably do too, you were numb. Like, what am I watching? I'm watching giant planes fly into our buildings.
Yeah, I remember my wife waking me up and telling me the World Trade Center is on fire. Like, she had just gotten up and just turned on the TV. And as I came in the living room and the minute I looked at the TV, it was the moment when the second plane went into the second tower. I remember we were watching NBC, and I see that jet go into that tower. I mean, we just stood there stunned. I was just like, is this a movie?
Yeah. Is this real? I was, we had a brokerage firm, and it was, there was like 4 or 5 of us were partners, and our buddy, Wavy Davey, hello, mate. He rolls on in because we're up early because of the East Coast. So it's, we're up at like 4:30 in the morning, 5, because we've got to be up when the markets are up. And he comes in and he's like, I was just listening to the news, and they said there's a plane that crashed into the World Trade. And this is like, I mean, we didn't have TVs. The computers weren't amazing. There was not like we think today, right? Like, you got the internet, but it's nothing. We try to explain that to the kids.
Right. Yeah, it was not good like it is today.
And then we had a couple people that my partner, Lars, a couple people that he traded that he was talking to said, hey, dude, they're telling all the planes to get down. They've lost contact with several planes. So now we were in Newport Beach, California, in this. It's a 2-story apartment building. The bottom floor is ours. But our buddy lives upstairs, and his wife, and he used to be a broker. We run upstairs and bang on the door. They don't know what's going on. They open it up. Here's a bunch of guys run in. We're sitting on the bed with him and his wife. They're half naked, and we're like, we're under attack. And that's when the second plane hit.
Wow.
And it was just, I can't believe I just saw that. It didn't feel real. I'm like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And that's when you knew things had changed. And they did. And Bill, where were you? Were you in the record industry?
Yeah, I was living in Dallas, and I had my radio set to. I wake up every day to Howard Stern, and I woke up with hearing Gary Delabate. Can't remember how to pronounce his name, but saying they hit the Pentagon too.
Yeah,
and Howard was an hour behind because he was tape delayed, and a few minutes after that, our Chicago rep, who was a good friend of mine, she calls me up, and she's, like, are you watching TV? And I turned the TV on, and all I saw was this loop of that second plane hitting, and I'm like, where the hell are they getting all these planes? Because they didn't explain that what was...
Because they didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like today. In today's world... you go back, there's 1 or 2 little angles of the first plane but if you were to take our modern technology back then, the amount of videos and things we would have seen at that moment in time would have been insane. And it was so bizarre because I remember about 2:00 in the afternoon, we've been watching it all day. We're consuming it. Like normal people shouldn't consume this much of what has happened, but you can't take your eyes off of it. And I look at Lars and say, dude, I'm hungry. He's like, me too. So we go out. Nothing's open. Everything is closed. The only place that is open is a 7-Eleven. And there's about 100 people. It's out the door. And you know what's weird? Everybody was a zombie. Nobody had their heads up. It was like phones before phones.
Yeah.
And it was It was numbing. It was numbing. And then the other thing that was numbing, the quiet.
Yeah.
No airplanes.
Yeah, we lived at the time in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We lived right by the Sunport, which is what they call their airport. And we had just gotten used, to planes coming in and out constantly. It wasn't overbearing, but, we were close enough to the airport that they would fly over and we could see. And for 3 days, nothing. Just dead silence. It was very odd.
That was so just weird because we were kind of on that flight path too, everybody coming into Orange County Airport, John Wayne Airport, and there was nothing. And then when you look up at the sky, normally you'd see a bunch of planes. There was nothing for days.
When I was in Dallas, I lived out by the airport, and I was walking to a bar that was actually open behind my apartment complex. And I heard these, I guess they were F-16s, come screaming overhead. And I'm like, where the hell are they going? As I'm walking, I see this American Airlines plane take off, and they were escorting it because it was they had gotten special permission to fly to San Francisco to speak with the families. And that plane, but normally being next to DFW, you would just see planes
all
left
day,
and right, and that was the only one taking off.
There was, the next day, I think there was one plane that flew on the 12th. Might have been two, but one, there was a guy in Florida who works with reptiles. He got bit by an inland taipan. And there was only two places in the country to get this anti-venom, because Florida didn't have any at the time. One was New York. There was nothing going in and out of New York. That was never going to happen. And the other one was San Diego. So they had to get special permission to fly the anti-venom to keep this guy alive. And they kind of escorted him along the way. But it was the most surreal thing. And I wonder to myself, and we'll pick it up after this, the subsequent days after, there was a different feeling in our country. There was a feeling that we weren't, Republican or Democrat. It wasn't Bush or Gore. It wasn't, we're America. And you didn't punch a president or a political party. You punched America, which is all of us. And I wonder if we could ever get to that again and what that would take. Talk about that coming up here in a little bit. Reach out to us across all of our social media, Rumble, which is cool. Twitch, very cool. We are also on Facebook, X, and, of course, YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe there. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
To noon. And streaming on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
Football is here. It's a game tonight, actually. If you've never played Prize Picks, you need to. This is not one of those things where you're picking teams based on this and this. What about over here and spreads? It's not that. It's just taking that knowledge of all the sports that you know and using that to pick more or less on players and their stats and the projections. And Prize Pick is ready to essentially give you a freebie. First of all, when you download the app, and you play your first $5 lineup, you play two or more, up to six, you're going up 2,000 times your money. When you do that, you're going to get $50 in bets immediately right into your account. It's that simple. $50 in lineups right in your account. Now, here's the other thing. They're going to give you a freebie in one. It's a max discount. That's what they call it. So Travis Kelce this week, do you think he's going to get more than 5 yards? No, 0.5 yards receiving. So I think he will. I think he'll get more than that. That's simple. Do you think Lamar Jackson would run for over 62 yards or somebody like Joe Burrow throw for, X amount of yards? Or it's just more or less, it's that simple. And immediately you're going to get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Take that knowledge you know about sports. Doesn't matter what sport it is. Put it to use with Prize Picks. Right now, download the app. Use code CHAD. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CHAD. $50 in lineups. Win or lose. Guaranteed after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Pick. It's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
So some breaking news right now. Fox News and others reporting that D.C. Capitol Police are responding to an incident at Democratic National Committee headquarters. This is according to an alert sent to members of Congress. We'll try to get you more details on that. And, of course, the manhunt for the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk continues. All that and more coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You just hope and pray. You know, did you see Boise last night?
No, what happened?
There was a guy, and he was saying stuff. They beat him up. You know, he was like celebrating.
The kid with the megaphone?
Yeah, I think so. There's.
He was celebrating.
You know, this. It's vile. It's free speech. Charlie would have said that's what you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
And beating him up is even with your emotions. That's not something that's not free speech. That's violence. But I said, I feel like there's something about to pop. And it's not a good place for us to be as a nation. It isn't. It's scary to, what happened yesterday. I wouldn't want to, talking to Scott Sabicki, I wouldn't want to do this stuff, the politics. But just in the way that things are going now, the instability of people, by the way, they're out there in all shapes, colors, and sizes. And, I mean, it is bizarre when you think that you would, first of all, celebrate somebody's death, which is sickening, but it's your right to do it in America. It's the beauty of hate speech, right? It's speech. There's no such thing. People are awful. They're going to say horrible things. And you know what you do? That's their right to do it. They're not threatening to kill you or somebody else. That's their right to do it. You should always stand up for their right to. You don't have to like it. You don't. At the same time, who raised you? This loving, caring, Bell said, he goes, these people are super loving and caring. These people that are so wonderful and open, man, they got a lot of hate. But it's moral hate. See, they believe that their hate is justified. It's their truth. Yeah. I hope nothing's happening in D.C.
I do too, man.
Because
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm worried going forward.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
Me too. Ken, all the latest on that, and obviously the search, the manhunt still continues for the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Hour number 2, straight ahead. Chad Benstow, Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in D.C., breaking news, several reports that Capitol Police are responding to a, quote, incident at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. This, according to an alert sent to members of Congress. No further details regarding the nature of the incident have been released at this time. Meanwhile, the manhunt for the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk continues. Bo Masons with the Utah Department of Public Safety says they're combing through footage of the suspect.
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Now, the FBI has released some photos of who they say is a person of interest. Here's Pierre Thomas.
I'm told by sources it's from surveillance footage in and around the area where the shooting took place. This appears to be a male person wearing sunshades and a baseball cap. The FBI very much wants to talk to that person, and they're asking for the public's help in identifying this person so that they can get access to them and begin to interview them.
Also, we're learning that there was a spent cartridge still in the chamber of the gun that authorities have recovered. Also, unspent cartridges, and authorities say when they looked at them, they discovered what law enforcement officials described as writing containing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. Meanwhile, 24 years since the September 11th attack, some loved ones of the victims read aloud the names of those who died that day in Lower Manhattan.
Brian G. Ahern. Jeremiah Joseph Ahern. Joanne Marie Aladiotis.
Memorial services and remembrance events happening across the U.S. And here's the thing. People are still dying.
The FDNY this week added 39 firefighters, EMTs, and civilian workers to its World Trade Center Memorial Wall and held a ceremony Tuesday honoring the members who worked on recovery efforts at Ground Zero in the days and weeks after the attacks. The FDNY has now logged more than 400 deaths attributed to World Trade Center illnesses, more than the 343 firefighters killed that day. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, here in Middle Tennessee, the mother of James Sellers, who was stopped at a red light on his motorcycle when he was hit from behind by an SUV and killed in Hermitage Tuesday night.
And I tried to call 2 or 3 times. No answer, so I jumped in my car and came here, and it was him. He took a son, a father, a spouse, family. And I don't know what to do without him.
Driver of the SUV initially drove away, but then turned himself into police yesterday. Police say the crash remains under investigation and charges are forthcoming. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Still no sign outside of a picture of a person that is a person of interest that they have posted in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And they found the gun. What kind of, do we know what it was? It was a rifle of some sort. Do we have any idea?
I've just heard single bolt action rifle.
That's all I was like, what did you say, Bell? It was like World War II? Is that what you said?
This guy thought it was Lee Harvey Oswald with the bolt action.
I mean, and it had some stuff on there, anti-fascism, Antifa, and transgender stuff. Outside of that, and there's a picture of somebody, like I said, a person of interest. It's, there's this weird thing that's happening out there, which is the Mangione, perfect example. This pushback against society and this celebrity infamy kind of thing where you're fighting the man as a single, warrior or something. And that is a scary thing. It is. It is a scary, scary thing when you think about that. Because the picture they got up of this guy, and I tweeted out, I'm like, I smell a new anti-hero for everybody. Somebody who silenced somebody who was mean to the gays. No, he had his opinion. By the way, having an opinion doesn't mean you hate. Having an opinion that delves from your opinion doesn't mean you have disdain and hate. Yeah, there's things I didn't agree with Charlie. There were things I didn't agree with Charlie, and everybody in this industry it's an entertainment industry. And Charlie said some stuff that, I wasn't my position. But that being said, a lot of people say stuff. It's not the way you handle it. Well, he doesn't like the LGBT. He never said he doesn't like the LGBTQ plus community. Never. He looked at this, and first of all, he looked at it that now everybody's starting to see, especially the trans movement, as what it was. The trans movement was never about kids being born in the wrong body. It was never about this whole hope to take over and turn everybody into race, women and men and stuff. It was never about that. The movement was about power. The movement was about getting people to bend the knee. That's what it became. People wonder why the gay community wants nothing to do with it. It's because they saw right through it. They wanted equality and to be left alone. That's it. They didn't understand it and didn't like it. The advocates that push for these things prey on people and then get people to be terrified. Because the goal is to get you to be afraid of their power. That you may be canceled, that you may be fired, that you won't say anything. In fact, to get you to even go against your own beliefs of what you know to be actually true. 1984, the greatest crime of all right there. That was what this was about. And doesn't mean you hate. Doesn't. Discourse is incredible. Having conversations with people. I know I battle some of you guys on the text lines, and I'll always do it. And I'll always defend your right to have a disdain for me. Because that's who we are. That's what we're about. Charlie gave millions of young men and women the opportunity to see what used to happen on campuses, to see what used to happen in our world, where we had open dialogue. We could challenge one another. And that was great. That was. And I don't think it's going to be gone. But I tell you what, it's no doubt yesterday, that was a gut punch. I talked to, our business isn't very big. When I met Charlie, he wasn't Charlie Kirk yet. I mean, Turning Point was taken off. He wasn't Charlie Kirk. He wasn't like what we know him as and what we knew him as, what we saw him as. He wasn't that yet. I mean, it was just starting to get going. And the brilliance of the way that he did what he did with Turning Point USA was incredible. It was that to me was, yes, because of the podcast and the radio and the books and the tours and the thing, but it was the Turning Point thing at the grassroots level that brought people, that activated people and got people interested in politics, even people, and he said on several occasions, even people that were young and weren't conservative didn't have the same belief that he had, knowing that he got them interested was a win. And it was. And we were talking last hour, the division in our country, and I'm going to ask you this, Ken. 9/11 happens like this today. I don't know, something horrific, 2,000-3,000 people die. After 9/11, subsequently, the days after, flags everywhere, people smiling, saying hi. There was no right, left. There was no Democrat, Republican. It was American. I don't think that could happen again.
No. I would be shocked if that happened again. I mean, there would be some, but not on the large scale like it happened back in 2001.
Yeah. You saw very few or heard very few incidents of, outside of the Israelis that got caught on camera celebrating outside of, you didn't hear about tons of, people on, because there wasn't the Twitter. There wasn't this social media kind of thing that you have now. You had Friendster, maybe MySpace or something. People weren't doing that then.
Well, and going back to what you're saying about the lack of social media like we have it now, I mean, there probably were celebrations like that, but we just didn't see it like we would see it today.
No, we wouldn't. And it's funny. I was doing a hit early today on another place, and I said, what's weird is you would have the people that would be celebrating what would happen to us, and they would be saying, we deserve this, and they'd be on the way left. And then you'd also have the people on the right who had said, American government must have been behind this, and they must have done something. You're right. We must have been in somebody's business and caused them to do this. It's so bizarre. But yeah, I just don't think we could. Because social media, you said, man, it's the gasoline on a fire that's already there. Oh, Sunday. It is. I mean, I'd love to think that we could get back to that feeling afterwards. And I'm sure you guys remember that, of coming together, saying hi to people more often, smiling, and, afterwards, and this pep in the step, and that America, we didn't know who did this, but somebody was going to pay. We didn't know who did this, but yeah, you put us on our knee, but we're getting back up. There was something that was so much different. And in today's world, no chance, man. No chance. No way. We'd be at each other in such a way that it would cause, I mean, I would almost say, shut them all down for a while. Everybody, 72-hour break. If you want to watch Netflix, you can. 72-hour break. You want to watch Hulu, you can.
I would not be opposed.
No. Last night after I did all my stuff, and I told my wife, I said, I need to sit down for like 30 minutes. And my daughter, she's 7, and she came and she made a little place on the couch for me, brought me my little drink that I drink, this water that I like. And she got me the blanket and she put it on top of me. And she goes, there you go, Daddy. She goes, I know you had a tough day. And I'm like, just thinking. And I just I watched like an old Rick and Morty because I wanted something that was nothing. Because I knew I had to get up today and talk about this and this kind of stuff. And I just wanted something that was absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I turned myself into a pickle and 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah, I was doom scrolling last night. I did not intend to watch that video. I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And boom, there it was, right in front of my face. And I saw it. And I mean, it just immediately hit me.
Yeah.
I've got some PTSD from my days as a roving reporter in little old Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I mean, I don't claim that I have seen anything as bad as any war veteran out there or anything like that, but I've seen the result of murder, and I've seen it up close. And that right there, that triggered me. And I did not want to see that. I purposely avoided watching that. And I should not have been scrolling, and boom, there it was. I'm like you, dude. I had to go for a little walk.
Yeah.
I had to get away.
I needed, you needed that, you needed to numb your mind. And Bell, I got in today, and Bell, the first thing he said to me is, first of all, he goes, I don't know how you do all this stuff all the time. And he goes, the second thing is, I've been up all night because I saw that video and I can't stop it running through my mind.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way. I never watched the Daniel Pearl video. I never did.
I saw that.
And I never want to see it.
It is the worst. There are things in my life, and I'm sure you're this weekend, that I never want to forget. And there are things every day I wish I could, but I never will.
Yes.
Daniel Pearl was one of them. It was the worst, one of the worst things. When they burned in Syria, those pilots, ISIS did that.
Yeah.
That was, it was, and being in this business, I get stuff sent. I have friends all over the world who work not only in this, the media business, but in military and all kinds of stuff. And you're going to talk about stuff. You got to look at stuff. And I had this conversation with Jack last night, my son. I said, dude, you're 15. You're on the web. You're on your TikTok. You're on all the things. I'm not going to tell you not to look at it, because if I do that, you're going to go right to it. I'm going to tell you, I wish you didn't. But you used to have to search for things.
Right.
Right? You did. You had to search.
Yeah, purposely.
Yeah. And you had to, and usually 15, 20 years ago, you had to know, right? You had to have like a torrent, like a BitTorrent, or you had to have some sort of thing where you had a special thing where you could go to a website that no one else could get to on the regular web. Just to put this in and then put 48.99, and then you could find some stuff if that's what you were looking for. Not anymore. And it's there on everybody's TikTok. It's there on everybody's Reels. It's there on everything. And it's on the front of every damn website. And it just says graphic footage. And
it is.
It is. It is graphic. It is graphic indeed. Coming up, we'll talk about a little bit more of this. We got some of your text messages as well. I think people are telling us what the gun might be. So that was used?
Yeah, they're saying a high-powered bolt-action rifle.
A Mauser?
But they're not. But I haven't seen them give it a name.
No, I haven't seen it either.
There's been a few people on the text line say it was a Mauser, but I don't know how they would have known that.
Yeah. So bolt-action rifle is the most accurate rifle, is what people are saying. So there you go. So, well, yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is. Nobody's given it a name. Again, that's all we heard so far, outside of what they apparently wrote on there, they, them, whatever, which was trans stuff and stuff about Antifa and anti-fascism. So I'm sure we'll learn more. I don't really have confidence, though, in a lot of what's going on, because it's been 24 hours and they have swung and missed twice. So I think a lot of people are going, what's going on with Scooby-Doo over here? You guys not getting this right? Coming up, talk a little bit more about this. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Relief factor. Been taking this for a while. And when there's 100 million of us, we're getting older, right? We want to work out, we want to do more things, but what hinders us? Was it interest? No. Usually it's your muscles are sore. This is what Relief Factor helps you with. It is incredible. My wife and I love to work out, and I do. And for the last 7-8 months since we moved here, I've been doing so much. It's been hard. But now I'm working out all the time. And Relief Factor is my go-to. I take it daily. It's not addictive. Omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, all this great things inside of it. It is so awesome, though. My muscles don't hurt. And part of getting fit and part in being able to do things is being able to recover from them. And that's what Relief Factor helps you with. So if you're like me and a little bit longer in the tooth, but you still want to work out, you want to be active, you want to not hurt all the time, Relief Factor is going to help you with that for your muscles, to get them stronger, healthier, and help them rebound. 3-week quick start right now, $19.95. Okay, that's it. It's less than a cup of coffee a day. You're going to experience a difference for yourself. Head to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. It's a natural way to support your body, comfort, keep you moving, feeling great every single day. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4, RELIEF.
Charlie Kirk assassination update. The search is on for the killer, and now the reward. It's being offered. We'll tell you about it at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lot of people are going, how do we stop the indoctrination on schools? That's what he was doing. Free speech. Having a thought that is different than somebody else. The best form of diversity, it's not the color of your skin. It's not who you love or what you identify as. It's not if you're a person of size or a little person. It's thought. It's thought. Ideas, debate. When you can't have conversations, when a side is shut down, when you can't release that pressure, it will eventually come out. That's why they said the first thing is freedom of speech. Got to have that. To assemble, to be able to debate, to be able to have debates and conversations, to be able to say things that may offend every people, and you don't have the right to not be offended. That's not in the Constitution. In theory, the only speech that is protected is hate speech. And in a world where everybody decides how something was meant, I mean, we wouldn't be able to say anything. We wouldn't. We've got our problems. Yeah, we've got warts and everything. Welcome to America. Welcome to the world. There's no perfect people. There was one. But then I look around the world and I see people in England, they're arresting 30 people a day for crazy Facebook posts. Woo! Think about that. Being arrested because you tweeted something you thought was funny, a meme that you may not even have done. They're coming and kicking your door and take you away. No, we need more freedoms. We need our freedoms protected. That is of utmost importance. That's how you combat the chaos on college campuses. You combat that by giving the people opportunity to have a point of view that isn't going to get them punished in class or made a pariah at school. That's how. And we, what he did and the way he did it, because remember, so many of these kids that are in their mid-20s, that are already through school, when he started, they were in like middle school. He wasn't much older than them. Building this thing. He's gone through. And there's more people out there that are willing to step up and keep it going. And even yesterday, several of the big lefty people that are, he was getting ready to have a debate with Hassan Piker, who's massive in the world of like Twitch and everything, just in huge size. And he was watching it live when all this went down. And he said, they were going to have a debate, I think, in like 9 or 10 days. He needed Charlie like Charlie needed him, because those ideas, iron sharpens iron. And that's the way that people who are not afraid to debate ideas or have conversations. Because if I don't know everything, do you know everything? No. And sometimes you only have so much of the data, or sometimes you don't. We live in a world now where everybody presents their point of view and they don't want any pushback. Well, he wasn't like that. And there were several people that celebrated, and a lot of you out there got pissed and angry. It's the right to do so. And Charlie would have protected that right. It's important that we protect that right. Don't have to like it. But the minute we start deciding we don't like this and we don't like that, eventually somebody's not going to like what you're saying. So we got to protect it.
And you've talked about this, Chad, about what's going on in the UK right now.
It is 30 people a day.
That's unfathomable.
They took a comedian off of an airplane with 5 armed police officers because he posted something in April about a LGBT march, and he said, and it just said, I bet that's a smelly place. That was it. That was it.
And they arrested him.
They arrested him. You know what? I was talking the other night. I was curious. I'm like, J.K. Rowling says a lot of stuff. Are they're that feels like a bridge too far for them to go after.
Yeah. But she better look out.
Yeah, she'll Harry Potter them. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, she will.
Do you remember when all those people were saying, we're going to buy your books and burn them? She's like, good. Go buy them all. Keep buying them.
Yeah. She'll laugh all the way to the bank.
Oh, what did she say the other day?
Cry all the way to the bank.
The other day, they go, we've fixed the Harry Potter books. We've changed the cover and everything. And she goes, yeah, but the inside's still the same. Oh, Lordy. When we come back, we're going to talk about the video and stuff, because we have this bizarre fascination that is there. And I think there's a numbing side of it now that is coming out, which is scary. I don't think we need to get that part either. Chad Benstow, Super Talk 997.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Right now, we got a crash. Actually, it's a stalled vehicle. TDOT reporting this. It's off on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound there at Waldron Road in Laverne. But you got that get over rule. Better do that. And that's for the safety of the first responders. Charlie Kirk assassination. The search is on for the killer. And I'm seeing a report in The Guardian that the FBI and Utah Department of Public Safety were due to hold a press conference this hour, but they have suspended it due to what they say are rapid developments in the case. Here's one of those developments.
The FBI is now offering a $100,000 reward to lead to the arrest of the shooter. It comes after the FBI released clear surveillance images of the man they say is their suspect, showing him with a hat on, sunglasses, and some kind of American flag long-sleeve T-shirt. Sources tell ABC News 3 unspent cartridges were found in the shooter's bolt-action rifle and that they had wording on them expressing what some law enforcement officials described as transgender and anti-fascist ideology on them.
That's Alex Stone reporting. And meanwhile, today marks 24 years since the September 11th attacks, bells ringing the moment that day when the South Tower fell in New York City. Memorial services and remembrance events happening all across the country.
Born and raised New Yorker Murda Gashar Jordan is working to honor all of the victims, including her late husband, Rob. She last spoke with him on the phone while he was working on the 92nd floor of the South Tower.
He said, I'll call you when I find out if we're evacuating. And we said our goodbyes, the I love you.
At her local library, Murda has been fundraising to build what will be called the Never Forget 9/11 Memorial. She wants it to be a place to reflect and learn, especially for the younger generation.
That's Danny New reporting. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Mid-90s Saturday and Sunday. We have good sun through the entire weekend, and that heat will stick with us next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Highs will stay in the 90s, and the dry weather pattern continues.
All right, guys. You want to get thinner, right? Like that's, and you're like, I'm working out, Chad. I'm not losing the inches. I am. You want to know why? My friends at Contours. And they've got a belly buster thing going on right now. This is incredible. So you're guaranteed to lose 2 inches on your chest and your belly. But here's the other thing. When you go in for this, it's $99. If you don't lose the inches, you don't pay. When you sign up for the Belly Buster package, you're going to get a facial package. So you can keep it for yourself or give it to maybe a lady or a man you're trying to impress. It's $1,500, and you get it for free when you sign up. And it's this red light therapy. This is not one of those things where you're there for 20 minutes, you leave. No, this is like FDA approved. It's incredible. It really is. Dan and I have gone here. We're losing the inches. And we're getting rid of the little love handles there, right? We don't want those. Nobody does. And you get to a certain point, no matter how many crunches you're doing, it's not going to work. Well, it does here. Non-invasive, amazing Contours. Call them today. Set up a consultation. Go in and see them. 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, or visit ContoursLLC.com to schedule. What do you got to lose but inches and wrinkles? A lot of your text messages coming in. Yeah, it looks like it's a Mauser. But then I've seen other places say, well, they're not quite sure. I mean, this is what happens, right? Like yesterday, there were 2 people in custody, and then there was nobody in custody. So and you're never sure. You're never sure, like, because these things they're fluid. They're fluid. They go from one place to another at 100 miles an hour. And you're not quite sure what's going on. And it's going to come out when it comes out. There's no doubt. What do you guys call Brian Seltzer?
The potato.
The potato. That's what I thought. Not a good name. He's married, too.
Wait, potatoes are great, man. You get a little cheese and bacon and maybe some ranch dressing.
When's the last time you had a potato, dude? You don't eat carbs.
I wish that were true.
Because he can't afford them.
It's been since I just ate a potato for a meal. It's probably been 3-4 years.
Oh. Okay, you don't get to talk about potatoes.
You know what you can dip potatoes in? Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, baby.
Official condiment of the Chad Benson Show.
Amen. Amen. But the potato was on CNN. I'm glad CNN brought him back because he makes us smile, doesn't he? Every once in a while you look at him and go, pff. And after Matthew Dowd yesterday on MSNBC, we don't know if it was one of Charlie Kirk's supporters who shot the gun in the air. If you guys saw that, he got fired. They let him go at MSNBC. But I kind of agree with what the potato said here about what's happening with people being able to see everything all the time.
Well, there have always been some people who want to watch these snuff films. You know, if you wanted to find gory videos of people being slaughtered, you could find those on the internet 20 years ago. The difference now in the past few years is that these social media algorithms push it to all of us, even to most people who don't want to see this content. And that's what I fear about the last 24 hours. One of the things I fear is a lot of people who don't want to see that gory video are actually being seen when they log on to their social media feeds. You know, Thomas Chatterton Williams, the author, weighed on this overnight. He said, it cannot be healthy, individually or societally, to be exposed to endless footage of people being gruesomely murdered in graphic detail on our phones. He cited the video out of Charlotte and the video of Kirk, and he said, this is not healthy to watch. We should not all be seeing this. It is warping us. And I share that concern, Kate, that it is numbing us as a society to the true toll of violence.
And that right there, the numbing. You know, all right, we're all kind of the same age. Man, your buddy be like, we're having a sleepover. And then be like, I got faces of death. Like,
yeah.
What? Yeah, Mom thought I got Pinocchio, but I got faces of death. But you can't say anything. We're going to be in our room eating popcorn. You're like going in there and you're watching it. And then, you know, as you get older, you realize that's not, like 99% of those things aren't real.
Right.
But there was a morbid curiosity as a young boy. But yesterday, people saw that. And what you saw was something that wasn't what I think people thought it was. You know, it's not the old John Western kind of thing where, and it's over. No, it's real. And the amount of blood that came out, I think, surprised a lot of people. It was terrifying to think about that. And, you know, one of the things I was thinking about, because we do have this, like you said, you used to have to search for these things. You don't have to anymore. There's the other thing he was right about. It's on everybody's thing. Everybody. Because those algorithms are searching for the things that get people clicking and moving and clicking and moving, and then they feed those things. So if it's popular, we must push it out to everybody. It is the numbing thing. I don't want that. I don't want to see. I want people to be. I'm glad that I felt awful and horrible. I don't want that numbing thing where you watch something that bad and you're like, you know? Because it is, you know, it was awful to watch. And you're watching something and you're thinking to yourself, because some of it is, right? Like, especially like when we see drone attacks. We saw 11 people get smoked the other day on a boat. And I know they're supposed to be all Tren de Agua. I'm not sure maybe that was all true, but it doesn't matter. There was 11 people eviscerated in a second. And it was like a video game. And I want to be able to feel like the minute you stop feeling that, that's the minute you're like, I need to do something else. You know? Like that's the scary thing. But the access that everybody has. But, you know, as I was telling you guys, I was arguing with my uncle last night. And because he's so angry. Some of you are very angry as well. And look what look what this person said. Look what these people did. Look what they said. And I said, dude, every time you click on something like that, you're feeding it. It's a genie. Yes, master. More. Anything you say. Here's some more. That's why I kept sending him stuff. Go click on these funny cat videos in this Hyrax or whatever this thing was that we were playing. Go. It
was a Hyrax.
It was hilarious. You guys got to see this. It was this Hyrax. This guy talks to this little animal. He calls it all kinds of things. He called his welfare weasel, his discount guinea pig, but it screams at him. And then what did I get after doing that several times? I got 50 different animal videos. But the minute you click on one or two of the things that are the same, it's looking for the thing, and we're feeding it. We're giving it the order we want. And it's like, here you go. This is what you want? You want some of this? Have at it. That is, tell you what, I mean, a lot of that's on us. And no, you don't have to see it. I told my wife, I said, I don't want you watching that. She says, I'm not going to. She says, I'm not going to watch it. I said, good. I said, and you know, I talked to my son about it, and my daughter, who's 15, I said, do not want you watching this at all. Don't even, just, if you see something and it's a crowd and there, just skim by it. That fast. Because you don't need that stuff. Because it does get to you. It does. How could it not? That was a human being. I was thinking about this. Think about his wife and kids were there yesterday. And the only blessing out of any of this is his kids are young. So remembering the day, it's not like they were 15 or 16. Do you know what I mean? Like where that is there. Remembering that day is going to be different. But the worst day of the life that you led, that was great. You packed in a lot in 31 years. It's on the front page of everything. It's your worst moment. And that is another thing. It's not like he died in front of all of us. That happened in front of all of us, including his family. And you can't, in the last 24 plus hours, you cannot open up anything on the internet without seeing that picture of him, lurching backwards and sideways, or, them trying to get a different view of it. That is the thing right there. We have this bizarre world where we think we got to look at everything. You don't. Go look at funny animals. Oh, what's your go-to, Ken, when you're looking for just stuff that takes, is it recipes?
Recipes and fat wiener dogs.
Oh, fat wiener dogs are cute. They are so cool.
Yeah.
I like fat wiener dogs that go about 3 steps on their walk, and then they're like, you're going to have to carry me the rest of the way. I don't think I can make it.
I had one like that. His name was Bentley Boo.
When I was leaving yesterday, there was this woman walking her wiener dog, and it was almost as cute as she was.
Look at you with your funny ha-ha. What kind? Was it the little wiener, the one that's still kind of a puppy?
No, it was, I think it was full grown, but it was like a short hair.
Okay. Yeah, there's a long hair puppy one that walks out here.
I saw that one the other day.
Yeah, and there's a lady that has 2 wiener dogs, and this is good to talk about because we need to have her mind off. She has to take, she goes, yeah, they can't, they don't want to walk anymore. So I have to take them on their walk with a stroller, then put them in the stroller. Otherwise, we would live wherever we stop.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
so they have one of those little weird strollers you take them in?
Yeah, my neighbors in Boise had a bunch of Chihuahuas. They wouldn't walk the Chihuahuas. They would put them in a baby stroller, and they would push the Chihuahuas in the baby stroller.
Oh, that is so...
One of them, Chico, his name was Chico. He was a little fat one. He could barely bark. But he would just go, bark, Every time he'd see me, I mean, he'd give me the business.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, but then he'd let me pet him, but until I did, he'd give me the business.
And what was he, and why was he giving you the business?
I think he was just saying, hey.
There's a new thing that people are doing. It's like an internet thing that's kind of funny. Does your dog like the food in the bowl more or you? And so people are having people come in like they're going to take you away and attack you. But you've put a bowl of food down first. And almost every one of them, the dog never leaves the food. It'll look up, it'll kind of run, then turns around, runs back to the bowl, turns around, runs in circles, but won't stop eating.
Right.
And I'm just yes, they like you, they love you, but the food, that's what it's all about. Oh my. Maggie May. See, look at people send pictures in. See kitties. Sandra just sent us a picture of a kitty.
Cute little kitty cats.
Yeah, it's nice. Need that. It's a good thing. Oh, there's another wiener dog. Wiener dogs are funny.
They are, man. They're my favorite little breed.
It is, isn't it weird that somebody a long time ago says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make one of these.
Yeah.
Like, what? I got these two weird-looking dogs over here. What happens if we put them together? And then they kind of get something, and you're like, what happens if the other ones go together? Next thing you know, you got a dog with 2-inch legs and 20-inch body, and it looks bizarre.
Yeah.
That is not a nature thing.
No. I mean, and weren't they bred, like the standards were bred to go after animals that burrow?
Yeah. Yes. That's what they were bred for. Kind of like the terriers and stuff that were all, that's what their thing was, to all go down, chase out the whatever foxes or but yeah, it's so, wiener dogs are hilarious.
Got to be careful with their backs, though.
Yeah. And you know what else it's bulldogs.
Yeah, little bulldogs.
Bulldogs are hilarious. Like British bulldogs, they're all called like Churchill or Winston. they just, you got to put them inside of a wagon.
Right.
I'd like to go for a walk, please. And by that, I mean you need to pull me in a wagon. Coming up in a little bit. As far as we know, Afton is coming in. Of course, you know she's running. And, but I think it's a good thing.
For the 7th District.
For the 7th District. So we're very 7th District heavy right now. We're going to talk to her, obviously, about her running and what's going on. But get her take on Charlie Kirk. Get her take on the free speech. Get her take because we need discord. And I know last time people get all upset because, oh, she's here. Why do you let her on? Why don't you? We need to have conversation. And I think it'll be good to have a conversation, especially from somebody who is a female. And in a time, as we talked to, Scott Sabicki yesterday about him talking about the fact that he worries when he goes out there sometimes. And he makes sure that he double, triple, quadruple checks and looks in people's faces and the way that they are walking and their voice inflection because, yeah, it goes through their mind. So she'll be joining us here in a little bit. It's Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
On 99.7 WTN app.
Birch Gold, there's some chaos out there, no doubt about that. There's some worry out there, too, about what potentially might be going on in the economy. Stagflation, we're in debt in a major way, and Birch wants to help you out. It's about diversification. If you're a first-time gold buyer, so first time you've ever done this, up until September 30th, if this is the first time, they're offering something. Birch is amazing, up to $10,000 rebate in free metals for qualifying purchases. They want to talk to you about all the amazing things they do and to give you an idea of what it is because you need the info before you can do anything. So you text the word Benson to 989898. They're going to get you out the info kit. No hard sell. They want to show you, look, if you got an IRA or 401k, you got a savings and you'd like to move it over and have it backed by an IRA backed by precious metals, you can do that. On top of that, maybe you just want the metals themselves. They can help you with that because gold, I'm telling you, look at the dollar, look what's happening. This is the play right now. Smart thing to do. So if it's your first time, take advantage of this rebate up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Text my name, Benson, to 989898 now. Claim your eligibility and get your free info kit. That's the word Benson. Text it to 989898 for Birch Gold.
All right, drivers, got some crashes getting in your way. Right now in Whites Creek, police say there's a crash 24 westbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North, exit 40. Then in Woodbine, 24 westbound near I-440. And now Wedgwood Avenue near I-65 in the Belmont area. Charlie Kirk assassination update. The FBI now offering a $100,000 reward, leading to the arrest of the killer. These stories and more at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, Afton Bain, she's going to join the program. We'll talk to her. She's running the 7th, and we're going to talk to her about all this stuff. We had this booked earlier, and I think it's a good time. Somebody who's on the left and somebody that we have fun talking, and debating politics with, but to get a perspective of being a politician, being a female politician, and being in an area, let's be real, estate where she's the minority. There's no doubt about that. And she's fine, spinning, getting some people angry. But, they're, after seeing what everybody saw yesterday, I'm sure that goes through their mind a lot more about, you think about things in a much different way. So she's going to be joining the program coming up in a little bit. A lot of people sending in dog pictures. And apparently, Ken, I'm going to tell you, the wiener dog.
Yeah.
It is hold on here. There's like 40 people said, oh, this is what it's really called. It's some sort of badger dog, or
yeah.
And I was like, no,
they were bred to dig out badgers.
Yeah, you're not winning that fight.
Yeah, I mean, the little wiener dog, man. Those standard wiener dogs, they're tough little fellas. Yeah, but a badger's rough, but
a badger is that's people. I don't think, pound for pound, there's nothing on earth that comes close to a badger. Have you seen badgers? They'll fight off everything
like a Wolverine.
Yeah. They have you go and look at, and because they got different kind of badgers and wolverines and things all over the world. They'll fight bears because they don't know. They're like, all right, we're going to do this, right? You've seen there's like 3 lions around them, and they're like, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. Let's go eat one of those people walking over there. So yeah, but they're so hilarious. They are. I just. Do you get him a Christmas Halloween costume with hot dog buns?
We did one year, but he didn't like it. Fritz didn't like it, so we took it off of him
and just gave him a hot dog.
Yeah, I just gave him a hot dog.
My grandma had a wiener. She had a tweener.
And we got one of those in our neighborhood.
Only ate hot dogs. It was the only thing it would eat. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner was hot dogs. His name was Spot. It was mean, and it went blind, and it hated everybody. Oh, goodness me. Coming up, After May's going to join the program. We're going to talk about all the stuff because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Charlie Kirk assassination update. The FBI now offering a $100,000 reward leading to the arrest of the killer. It comes after the FBI released clear surveillance images of the man they say is their suspect, showing him with a hat on, sunglasses, some kind of American flag, long-sleeved T-shirt. Here's Alex Stone with more.
According to sources, a spent cartridge was still chambered in the bolt-action rifle when it was found in the woods, and 3 unspent cartridges contained wording on them expressing what some law enforcement officials described as transgender and anti-fascist ideology. The FBI has taken the gun for DNA analysis and fingerprints. According to preliminary information shared with agencies, the rifle was wrapped in a towel when it was found in the woods near the campus.
The Guardian reporting that the FBI and Utah Department of Public Safety were due to hold a press conference last hour, but suspended it due to what they said were, quote, rapid developments in the case. Right now in Nashville, Channel 4's Holly Thompson says a search is on. Metro Police put out photos of a dark-colored SUV with front-end damage.
Authorities believe this car right here was involved in a hit-and-run crash earlier this morning near downtown Nashville. This is at the intersection of 4th Avenue South and Korean Veterans Boulevard. So investigators say the man was in a crosswalk when he was hit. That SUV is expected to have a significant front-end damage.
Yeah, that man rushed to the hospital in what authorities described as critical condition. And while the nation remembers the September 11th attacks today, people also reflecting on how the horrific events united the country.
In Lower Manhattan, as bells tolled, marking the 9/11 attacks and honoring the victims, the hustle and bustle of life and work continued. Steve Goulet, who commuted on the ferry today from New Jersey, reflected on the moment 24 years ago. He was one of the passengers on board planes that were diverted to Newfoundland. Goulet says he was struck how the city and nation came together then and how divisive the world is now, including yesterday's shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
The extremism from both sides concerns me. It's a different world, unfortunately, and sometimes I wish we could go back to the way we kind of came together as a country after 9/11.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
New details on a school shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado yesterday that left 2 victims critically injured and the student gunman dead. 16-year-old Desmond Holly, investigators say, rode the bus to Evergreen High School yesterday with a revolver, using it to shoot fellow students. They believe he had been radicalized by an extremist network. Details on that aren't yet clear. Jackie Kelly with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says lockdown drills worked. The shooter could not advance because students and staff hid behind locked doors.
The students and the staff at the school were amazing. They did their job, they did it well, and lives were saved yesterday.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, kids. Happy Thursday. Afton Bain is here. She is running in the 7th, and I'm excited to have you on. We had Scott here yesterday. We had our
Jody on Monday.
Jody Barrett. It was always fun. He's fun. And now we got you, because I'm like, I told everybody, you know what? Make sure you hit bell up if you want to come on the show. And make sure, because we're going to put it out there, but we're not reaching out to everybody. We couldn't even get that one guy we tried to get on, Pele or whatever his name was. Cisa Pueda or whatever his name was.
Cito Pelegro.
That guy. We tried to get him on, but it was like, we never even heard back from him. So, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's
I'm
it
doing
going?
great. Man, it's been some days are longer than others, as you know, on the campaign trail. But we've had a lot of fun, breaking lots of hearts, taking lots of names, and kicking some butt.
So are you getting pumped? How many people are running on your side?
So on my side, there's 4, and I think there's 11 on the Republican side.
Yeah. So who?
And
you
I'm the
were-
only woman.
Yo. Out of everybody?
Out of 15 candidates.
No
yeah.
way.
Yes, the only woman.
Oh my Lord.
So, and you know what? It's been really respectful on the Republican side. Anytime I've been at an event, I went to, there was a joint forum with the Chamber of Commerce and the Farm Bureau on Monday with the Republicans and the Democrats, and it was, quite cordial.
That's nice. We need more of that.
Yeah, especially now. You look good.
Thank you very much.
You've gotten some sun.
I'm trying to. I walk to work every day. That's my that's exercise. No, but I'm trying to exercise. I'm trying to, do this thing so we can be around and have fun. Obviously, Charlie Kirk, that's a big deal. It's a huge deal, not just for the Republicans, but I think for America. And I'm worried that, did we cross some sort of threshold? Did we do something that you get those moments? And I do worry because people do horrible things. And this person was obviously angry and hateful. But you're a woman. You're in this. It's on men. And Scott says he worries about it. And I could imagine, for you, it could be doubly worse because you got creepers on top of the fact that you got haters.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had joined your television show, your radio show. I love to see you on TV too.
I'm very TV witty.
You are very telegenic. After the ICE operation in Nashville, and I called in and talked about how I was monitoring ICE in my district for my Hispanic constituents. And after Representative Andy Ogles retweeted the video, called for my arrest, the Department of Homeland Security then retweeted his video and said all elected officials will be arrested if they engage in this behavior. And it was 3 weeks of nonstop violent threats in my email, calls. I had to get a federal criminal defense attorney who told me, do not set foot at your legislative office. Do not set foot at a federal building. And it was really scary. It was really, really scary. And as a female, I just feel like that's even more heightened, especially in the legislature. And it's, I came out and against the violence and, being in politics, it's a really, really scary time.
It is a scary time. And it's, because people are trying to, what was it like 1968? We knew what happened there. And then the 70s, you had the Weather Underground. You had 2,500 bombings throughout the 70s. You had the Sudanese Liberation Army with Patty Hearst.
That's deep lore.
Yeah,
That's deep lore.
That was a big deal. And then you can go back further. And then you had the 60s, Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and all these kind of, and we've had these moments in time. But now it's like we had the Minnesota legislature, right?
Speaker of the House assassinated.
They weren't even, they're state politicians. Most people probably couldn't even pick them out of a lineup. This wasn't like people that are, it is a very nerving time. It's a weird time here because we go out and do appearances and knowing now that we've got armed guards with us, it's like, what the hell's going on?
So what needs to happen? I mean, I think a lot of it's online. Like I see a lot of people who are self-isolating online and they're just kind of buying into this ecosystem that's self-perpetuating this deep escalation of the situation, these parasocial relationships with these people. And it's just, it's culminating in really terrible violence. And it's a scary time. And then, that happened in May, and then I decided to run for Congress. And that just tells you how serious I am about this moment in time and what this moment requires in terms of fearless leadership, because I'm willing to put my body on the line for my constituents and the people I serve.
That whole, when you talk about like, what do we have to do? It's more conversations. The identity, people need to start shedding their identity, right? If somebody disagrees with you about a thought that you have or a belief that you have, it doesn't mean they hate you. They're not the enemy.
Yeah.
You're probably not old enough to remember, but 24 years ago, see that there, Belle? 24 years ago, 9/11 obviously happened. We became Americans afterwards. I don't think that could happen today.
Yeah. Well, I will say after the ICE operation, I had multiple people in my district that also voted for Trump, and they were very upset about my behavior. And guess what I did?
What?
Instead of responding angrily in an email, I responded and said, hey, can I take you out to breakfast? I'd love to take you out to coffee. Let's discuss this because nothing is going to be solved over emails. And guess how many people emailed me back?
None.
2.
Two. Did they go out?
So my former Republican opponent, David Hooven, and I went out for lunch, and then someone else. And she actually called into Matt's show to workshop her talking points on immigration. And we got there, and I'm very charming, as you know. I'm very disarming, and so she was really kind of coming in hot. And I was like, wow, can I buy you a coffee? Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. And I think we sensationalize these people in our heads and our minds, especially those of us that are on TV. And it's like, when you meet us in person, we are very normal people.
Yeah.
Like
we got to humanize each other.
Yeah.
Should we stop being humans? And that is a scary thing, because having debates, and I have debates all the time. I get hate and I get all kinds of stuff. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the job. But when you meet, and the funny thing is, Matt and I've always talked about this. That's fine, but come out to an event and meet me, and then you'd be surprised how many times I didn't think I was going to like you, but you kind of grow. You're nice. I like that. I see where you're going with this, and we've got to stop taking things so personally. It is, look, politics. You're not always going to be happy. We live in a very interesting time, an interesting world. We have the greatest experiment of all time, which is self-governance, but we must get over this disdain for each other. And social media plays a big part because you are nameless and faceless. And even if your face is there, it doesn't matter, because there is no repercussions of immediacy. Mike Tyson said it's easy to say something across the keyboard when nobody's going to punch you in the face.
That's right.
But he thought, nobody's going to punch you in the face.
That's right.
If I was there, I'd kill you. It'll be crazy. So now that you're out there doing this, do you have extra... Like, when you go places, are you bringing security?
Well, this is for your listeners. The Tennessee legislature, or the campaign finance, doesn't allow state legislators to pay for security via our campaign funds as a state legislator. So that's something that we've been trying to kind of overrule and put legislation forth that would change that. And then at the federal level, you are able to use campaign funds for that. And so at my personal house and our campaign office, we installed really intense security systems. And I think hopefully once I win the general, that I'll have to have probably someone along with me, because it's just terrifying. And you look at the video of Charlie Kirk sitting there out in the open. I mean, I'm out in the open at these events all the time. And it just takes one thing. And I'm curious on the Republican side, because their debates are, getting really intense. There's 11 of them. And I just, does something snap and it can all kind of devolve really quickly. I don't know.
Yeah, and there always seems to be these purity tests in a lot of these things. It's like we believe 99% of the same things, but that 0.1% we don't believe. So, what do your colleagues say? Like, because you showed a picture of you and Scott, and you have, but they've got to feel it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely disproportional for those of us that are women and minorities, I think. But I know my colleagues do feel it, and especially, I mean, all of them across. It's on both sides, and so I think hopefully this is something that we can come together. Whoever is in the legislature after this race occurs, that we can come together and actually put forth legislation that would enhance security and security protection for the legislators, because it's really scary, man. Use the golden rule, right? Every day I wake up and say, what would Dolly do?
There you go. What would she do? She would say, like, come on over and come to Dollywood. Here's a Grammy or whatever she won. She won a whole bunch of those. Talking to Afton Bain, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. What made you go, okay, I'm doing this?
Oh, man, your listeners are not going to like this, but I'm going to tell it anyways. So after the ICE situation, and I don't know how that is kind of crystallized on your end and evolved. But with me, I, had to go basically underground in hiding. I couldn't organize any press conferences. Representative Andy Ogles was coming after everyone, right, in our city. And I don't care how you felt about the situation, but it felt like to me that Nashville was under attack. Nashville felt under attack. And I was on a plane and I heard two people in front of me say, oh, by the way, you can't go downtown on Broadway because illegal aliens have set up camps. This was on a plane coming into Nashville.
Wow.
It wasn't true. I mean, that was a rumor that wasn't true,
There's
right?
There's a lot of stuff that's not true.
So I felt like our elected leaders weren't doing enough, right, to stand up to whatever is happening. And so I decided to jump in this race. And I'm really grateful I did, because I think a lot of people are inspired. I've been running on affordability. I mean, everything just feels like it's falling apart. And in my world, I'm a millennial. I can't afford a house. I can't afford kids.
They're expensive to buy. You can have one. They're a little bit cheaper that
Too
way.
soon.
But
Too soon,
to
Chad.
buy one,
Too soon,
I don't know
Chad.
what those things are costing nowadays.
But this is an issue that is resonating across the district and across the state, is that life is unaffordable. And I think there are, what is the answer? Well, my answer is, abolishing corporate greed, whatever that looks like, and reining in billionaires. And I think that there's a lot of people that agree with that.
I think there is. It's that's kind of, it's a funny thing. The Mondani, people freaking out. I get why he resonates with people, right? You come out of college, you got, a gazillion dollars in debt. You're living in New York City. You're paying $6,000 for a 1-bedroom, toaster oven to live in with 8 people. Or the other choice is to live, 12 hours away on a train.
Right.
And you're looking, going, I'm never going to be anywhere but in debt. I'm going backwards. And the affordability, I mean, Trump ran on affordability. I mean, the playbook's the same. I mean, he may want to go about it in a different way, but I understand why people feel that way. What's the guy say? Rent was too damn high. He said that years ago.
Yeah. And I don't hear the Republicans talking about that. Like at the debate, it's all just who can out-Trump one another. There's no nuance to their policy, how they're going to make things more affordable. I haven't heard any of that. It is just like immigration, trans kids, immigration. There's nothing about affordability. And so I'm really interested in the general to see if that plays out. I do have a really good story that I think your listeners will love. And this isn't it to throw anyone under the bus, but you do know there's a January 6er running.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you interviewed him?
No.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. I've seen him interview. He's come in a couple times on Chris's show when we were here, but I know. Bell, did he ever send you something? Because Bell wanted his...
Oh, I wanted to see what the pardon looked like, what it actually looks like, because I've never seen one before, and he's never sent it in.
I love that. Yeah. I love that so much. So I actually met him at an event. I actually met his parents and his best friend. And so, we were chatting, and I was just really interested in his family. And he's got tons of support. I mean, you show up to these Republican events, and he's got like 100 people deep, right? And so my campaign manager and I walk into the Republican debate in Dixon. It's packed, right? And you can't miss us. I'm blonde, and my campaign manager's like 6'2", tatted. And I walk over, and I see Stewart's dad, and Stewart's dad so loud goes, "Oh my God, is that a rogue IRS agent over there?" And everyone just stops talking. And I'm like, "Oh no." And he goes, "I'm just kidding, Afton. It's good to see you."
A rogue IRS. But see, you guys have had a conversation.
Yeah, no. It's been, and obviously things are going to get more challenging during the general. And I'm, depending on who the candidate is, it's going to be rough because there's going to be a lot of outside money. This is going to have national attention. But I think right now, especially, watching, I can show up at a Republican debate and enjoy myself and listen and, hear what's going on and not, get aggressive about it. And I think that's what is lost in our politics.
Yeah. Nuance and conversation is very much lost. Put the ideas out there and let them play out and see who wins. Afton Main, she's here. We're going to talk to her more. Got some of your text messages, so we'll ask you some questions as well. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. That's me. I'm Chad.
You're Chad Benson. What would be funny for
All right, guys. Board Capital wants to do something for you. They've got a big thing coming up. It is a free webinar. It's back to basics. They're going to talk about what's going on in the marketplace. They're going to talk about how well they're doing. They're up 23% for the year and doing quite well. And what it is to be an active manager. And they want you to come to their Back to Basics webinar. It is October 2nd. It is 5:30 our time. Totally free. And they're going to talk about what they do, what value investing is all about, and why that you just don't have to invest here because there's so many opportunities elsewhere globally. So take advantage of it. It's absolutely free. You can also get a risk review. Doesn't cost you anything as well. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com to sign up. knowyourriskpodcast.com. October 2nd, that's a Thursday, 5:30 our time for our friends over at Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisory service offered through Trick Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trick 25294. Beacon Capital Management. Sorry, we're sitting here. Bell's like, hey, guess what? You got to do this commercial here. I'm like, thanks, Bell. I told you that. That's why he's going to go work for Afton. Beacon Capital Management wants to help you right now. Here's the thing with Beacon. It's here somewhere. There's got all this stuff going on, right? The one big, beautiful bill, very big. Opportunities for tax stuff, because most people have no idea. It's confusing, and some of these things are very much confusing because there's a time limit. Things like you can get up $10,000 in savings on car payment, loan, and interest. Do you guys realize? But there's certain things, right? Like it's got to be assembled here. There's all these things that they have to go through. That's why you need somebody who's a professional. And if you're a senior, this is important. Okay, so you're eligible for a senior deduction up to $6,000 with phase out. It's not a total elimination of taxes on Social Security, but it's a helper, right? But once again, phase out like many of these things. So this is what I want to do. Call Beacon, free personalized financial consultation. Doesn't cost you anything, a little time. BeaconCM.com, BeaconCM.com, or call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. This is a paid placement.
Charlie Kirk assassination update. We now have a $100,000 reward being offered, leading to the arrest of the killer. Drivers got a couple of crashes out there. Need to tell you about 24 westbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North. Another one westbound near I-440. All the day's top stories coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The space lasers. Afton is here. You're not supposed to laugh. Somebody got mad because you were laughing earlier because people like the seriousness of all the stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're having a conversation. This is what conversation and debate looks like and stuff. And I'm going to read some of your questions coming up. One person says, here's a serious question. Federal deficit entitlement programs, term limits. Where do you stand on those?
Term limits, absolutely. And I will say that, conversations.
What's a good term limit?
That's a great question. Let's hash it out.
Because when you think about it, as we were talking the other day, like Jody goes, all right, so we're going to, by the time you get in there, you're going to go and you're going to probably have a vote, could be for the whole, omnibus or whatever it's going to be. Then all of a sudden,
you're
you got to
campaigning.
start running
That's
again.
right.
And that's kind of what it's like when you're in Congress. So what is, you don't want, you shouldn't get 5 in a row, but is 2, 3?
I would say, and maybe this is just in terms of my career, like moving big programs and projects forward, is like, I would think 10 years, like it would be max, because that gives you time to start something and kind of finish it to its full fruition. And that's my personal opinion.
And maybe you might have the opportunity to go through, a different president and stuff like that, because I think that's always a good
because you're also you're at the bent of the federal government, who's in charge, who has governing power. And so for me, I think it's important, especially for me, that carries kind of long-term projects right to fruition. I need that time in this office, and I didn't expect to be running for Congress this year, but I do leverage these seats to do the work I want to do the organizing work I want to do, and I think for me it would be a decade.
Entitlement programs. Because we do we've got to clean these things up, and it is a mess. We overspend on all kinds of crap. I look around there and I think, what are we spending all this money on? Why can't we have?
But we just spent it on tax cuts.
Yeah, we did,
for the wealthiest Americans and the biggest multinational corporations.
Yeah, I was
there's never money. There's never money, but there's money for the elites. There's money for the wealthy.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, the one big beautiful bill. Guess whose tax cuts aren't permanent? The rich get tax cuts all day. They don't need it, by the way.
Right.
Even Bannon. Steve Bannon's like, he kept telling Trump, don't give the wealthy tax cuts.
Well, he's the real populist in all of this.
Don't give them tax cuts.
Yeah, no,
because
true.
they don't need it.
No. And so I like, especially for me, I'm very triggered by, national debt conversations, because this is on the backs of millennials. This is on the backs of Gen Z. We're going to have to be the ones that solve this. And oftentimes conversations about austerity or national debt are on the direct backs of programs that help people, especially, rural communities, people with disabilities. And so I take, I really get feisty about that, because these programs do help people, especially in the communities that I'm out seeing in District 7.
Aftermate's here. She's running in District 7. She's when is your, you've got 3 other against you? Is it 4 total or 5?
4 total.
Okay, so somebody just asked, what separates you from them?
I am the only one only candidate that has never taken corporate PAC money, that has never lobbied on behalf of billionaires and corporations, and nor will take corporate PAC money in this race. Period. End of statement. And I'm the only woman.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, they can't help that. But that's a good thing. Look, Citizens United, it's a nightmare. I want money out of politics because,
it's crony capitalism.
It's ruining capitalism. The free market doesn't exist in that way.
Because now corporations have the lobbying muscle, and we see this in Tennessee. Our state is bought and sold by the biggest companies, and it is hurting small businesses, especially in my district. And they have the lobbying muscle and capacity to then make laws that only benefit them. That's crony capitalism. That's not a free market.
No.
That doesn't allow the consumer to decide because the entire industry has been monopolized.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. It has. Well, I mean, I've always said this: power craves money, money craves power. You put those things together, it's like the Reese's peanut butter cup. Hey, you're chocolate.
And I can't be bought. Like I just can't be bought. I just, that is my values. It always has been. I've been steadfast, and I can't say that about the other candidates.
Oh, like that. Afton Bain is here. We've got more with her, taking some of your text, right? And you don't have to say horrible things, although she says she wants to read them on the air because it's funny. But, hold on a second. Chad, you're such a kiss-ass liberal. Just see that? Guess who that's from?
Well,
Ray.
That's old news, man. Everybody knows you're a libtard.
Is he your favorite?
Oh, yeah. He always gets mad at us. He's
Ray, let me invite you to breakfast.
Yeah, go to breakfast, Ray. There you go. Go to breakfast. It'll be fantastic. All right. More with Afton straight ahead. Chad Benz Show, Super Talk 997.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Charlie Kirk assassination update, a $100,000 reward from the FBI being offered, leading to the arrest of the killer. This comes after the release of clear surveillance images of the man they say is their suspect, showing him with a hat on, sunglasses, some kind of American flag, long-sleeve T-shirt. More from ABC's Aaron Katursky on what authorities say they found on the gun cartridges.
There was a spent cartridge still in the chamber. There were also unspent cartridges. And when they looked at them, they discovered what law enforcement officials described as writing containing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. That's how law enforcement officials described it. We don't know what that means. And law enforcement officials haven't made clear what that means. They are still working to determine what that means and how it might figure into their investigation.
President Trump says he will posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom soon. He was speaking at the Pentagon during one of today's many memorial services, marking 24 years since 9/11.
In the quarter of a century since those acts of mass murder, 9/11 family members have felt the weight of missed birthdays and empty bedrooms, journals left unfinished, and dreams left unfulfilled.
New York Fire Department this week added 39 firefighters, EMTs, and civilian workers to its World Trade Center memorial wall, logging now more than 400 deaths attributed to the World Trade Center illnesses. That's more than the 343 firefighters killed on that day. And money news, Jim Ryan with the latest economic reports.
In the week ending September 6, 263,000 first-time applications for jobless benefits were filed, a surge of 27,000 from the week before. It's the highest level for initial claims since October of 2021. There are new warnings about the number of people who are falling behind on their auto loans. A new report from the Consumer Federation of America says a record number of people are defaulting on their car notes.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Dry weather pattern continues.
USS, they're ready to help you. You got issues with your foundation? Do you have issues with cracks? Do you have issues with, you're like, what's down there? You don't want wood rot. Trust me, you don't want mold. It's a nightmare. US has to come out and take care of it. Crawl space, foundation, you name it. They're there for you. And they're going to come out. And the first thing they do is they're not going to charge you anything, right? They're there to give you a free assessment. Find out that, is there something wrong? They're not going to say anything you don't need. That's what I love about them. 30 years in business, and they're amazing. So if you're worried about stuff like that, it's the stuff that you don't see that ends up being the nightmare. Stop it before it starts. Do it with USS today. Call them, get their free inspection. They're not going to say anything you don't need. They're there to help, period, case closed. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or online at USSTN.com. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/chat. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369. My little dogs, right? They're happy as a lark. Why? Because they take Rough Greens every day. It's one scoop a day. It just gives them energy, makes them feel better. Everybody, we all take our little something, right? Whether it's an energy drink and our supplements. That's what Rough Greens is for the dogs. Omega-369, all this incredible stuff. And it has been formulated, and it's over 1 million dogs use it. It's the number one supplement in America for dogs. My mom's dogs use it. Big dogs, little dogs. You name it, they use it. Now, I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag of this. It's free. It's a $20 value. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping, and it's just one scoop. You don't have to do anything else. One scoop a day. That's it. You're going to love the taste. They're going to be all happy. You're going to see if they've got some aches and pains in their hips. You watch what happens. Start to subside. If maybe they don't have really any energy, they got lethargy, they're going to start to pick up. You're going to see a marked difference in this. Try Jumpstart trial bag now. ruffgreens.com/chat. Yeah. No. Well, yeah, for the Open. Oh. Afton Bain is here. She's running in the 7th against.
What's the wink?
I don't know. I was winking at the thing because all the stuff. Belle, are you watching? Are you reading some of these hilarious?
No, I've got so much other stuff going on.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So, okay, here. So there are some good ones in here, and then the usual. Chad, you suck. You're the worst. Mike says, "Don't go." I
apologize for sending that.
Don't go to breakfast with Ray. He may poison you," said one guy. How would you stop fraud?
I love a challenge.
How would you stop fraud, the rampant, the stuff in Medicare and Medicaid? How do you clamp down on a lot of that stuff? Because some of it's the people, but also some of it's companies that bill crazy and get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the only lever that we have against Medicaid and Medicare fraud at the higher level is litigation, right? Like these class action lawsuits against states. But Medicaid and Medicare fraud is a very low percent. But, I think we need to talk about what is fraud off of our government in the form of Elon Musk. Your listeners are not going to like this. But Elon Musk has a ton of government contracts, federal government contracts that are taking money. For example, right, like he is leeching off state governments right now to push Starlink, right, instead of fiber for rural broadband. And so there's a lot of ways, like he went in, he grifted. It took him how much money to actually find that there was waste? And it was like more than the waste itself.
I will tell you, I had Starlink out at my house, and it was the most amazing thing. Because
I hear you.
Anything.
No,
it was
I know.
incredible. But anytime big business can go in there and get, it's like Palantir.
But he's leveraging his relationships to get these contracts. And that is. I just don't agree with it.
I mean, it's cronyism, but that's what you do, because, and we've talked about this, Bell and I have talked about this ad nauseum. Big business, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's big tech, big pharma, they all want regulations because regulations then means less competition. And I don't think people realize that because they want to get in there into government because they want those big contracts.
I know, but Musk is using cronyism to push out the little guy. And that really bothers me at the state and federal level. And so when we're talking about grift and waste, like, what does that really look like? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's the capitals. I want to see free market capitals and what it looks like. And big companies are always going to have the opportunity. I mean, you're not going to buy, Jim's satellite dish if it doesn't work. You still buy, because you can't afford to put up a satellite yourself. Jim doesn't have a satellite, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And if we're going to talk about fraud, waste, and abuse, let's talk about our healthcare system. We have the worst outcomes in the world, despite the most cost going into our healthcare system, and it's because of the insurance companies. And if you want to talk about that, then
well, because insurance companies, they've done the same thing. They let them write Obamacare. They're like, hey, you guys want to write this? Sure. They cripple any competition whatsoever. And that is a nightmare. You can't go across state lines. The stuff that it is just crazy. And there's a lot of people even here who get mad and say horrible things about me as we laugh, but they also will say something's got to give when it comes to this.
It really does. I mean, healthcare costs continue to increase. We're seeing a monopolization of the healthcare industry. I mean, they are cutting costs they're increasing costs left and right, and that cost falls onto the consumer. And I know your, fans aren't going to like this, but the big ugly bill cut Medicaid in this state, which Medicaid funds a lot of rural hospitals. It funds nursing homes. 60% of nursing homes in the state of Tennessee are Medicaid funded. I mean, these cuts are going to have dramatic impacts on our communities and our ability to thrive.
Yeah, that's going to be it'll be interesting when it comes into play because I've always said whatever the bill really, you don't look at the 10 years because you're never going to get there because that thing's going to change. Even if J.D. Vance won, chances are things are going to change from there. And so what does it look like at that point? Union rights in Tennessee and TVA project.
Ooh, this is, thank you for teeing this one up for me. All right. Tennessee Valley Authority. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I'm a big proponent because I love FDR's New Deal, right? I look at myself as kind of a New Deal Democrat. But TVA historically lifted millions of people out of poverty. It provided union-paying jobs in the South and Tennessee. And so what's happening right now is the Trump administration is trying to steamroll new board members that are basically sycophants that want to privatize. Our energy rates in Tennessee are 70% lower than anywhere else in the country. Anywhere else in the country. TVA is responsible for really good union-paying jobs across the state at these, really rural places. These guys are making great money, and this comes all under threat if TVA is privatized. So our utility rates are already going up, right? I don't know if have you checked out your
utility. I think
it's bad. It's bad, and TVA being privatized is going to be really bad for homeowners in Tennessee.
All right, so we got more questions coming in. You guys are sending in
I love it. Keep them coming. Substance questions. Let's go.
Yeah, which is good. Let's see here. That was national debt. We've already done that. Okay, somebody wants to know about marijuana. Because that's one of the things we ask everybody, right? Like we want to know, well, I think we know what your stance is comparatively to lots of the people on the right. But what is your stance just on that in general?
Legalize it. Legalize it, decriminalization. And in the legislature, so what has moved from like, I would say neoconservatives, the war on drugs, right? They are now abdicating responsibility saying, well, we're just waiting until the federal government decriminalizes it. And it's like, okay, is Trump going to do that? Do you think he's going to do it?
I think he
I would hope so.
I think what he wants, he's not going to make it legal, but he's going to tell everybody, all right, you guys just
leave it up to states.
Leave it up to states,
or
which is,
whatever.
I think it should be absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of things should be left up to states, but the reason it was a Schedule 1 or still is because of it, once again, Hearst
Stigma,
and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that, you went out and said that, because I think we'll get a cheer from a lot of people here who go like, yeah, I really don't like a lot of the other stuff, but good for the weed.
And what would you want to see in a state like Tennessee?
I don't
'Cause
care.
You came from okay.
I'm a person of, if you're an adult and you're not hurting anybody, I don't care what you do.
Yeah, same.
That's my view.
True libertarianism. Thank you. Thank you, Chad.
Like, that's it, and somebody is going to call me not a true libertarian because, as you know, you can't become a libertarian until somebody tells you you're not a libertarian. But as adults, I think government has gotten to the point now where they want to know everything, control everything.
And get off my body and out of my bedroom.
Yeah.
I've said that. What happened? Just call me a local government, small government conservative, but that is what I want. I want government out of my bedroom and off my body.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I've been advocating for, I think we should be able to sell our kidney and our liver. Where do you stand on that?
I'd buy it.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
But no, if somebody came to, like you said, you can't afford, but there's a lot of people out there. You're sitting there and you got college debt.
Well, it's plasma.
Yeah, plasma. Somebody said, hey, I'll buy your kidney for $500,000. You wouldn't take that if you could?
Do you need your kidney?
But you only need one.
Oh.
Yeah, there's two. You
Learn
need to learn a
something new
little
today.
more about anatomy. Let's see here. Why can't there be good jobs without a union?
Why can't there be good jobs without unions?
Yeah.
Well,
there are good jobs without unions, but I understand where he's going with
well,
this.
I'm gonna do a throwback from Hurricane Helene. So there was a company in Unicoi County called Impact Plastics, and the bosses refused to let their workers leave during the hurricane, and they drowned to death. And those workers weren't unionized. And if they were unionized, they would have had a better contract in place to make sure that didn't happen. I actually filed a bill called the Workers' Right to Live bill because I personally think workers should have a right to live. Guess what? Failed in committee. But unions are really important because it allows you to build negotiating power against the boss, and especially in states like Tennessee, where we have like more workplace deaths than anywhere in the Southeast. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Oh yeah. It's bad. So I'm pro-union and always will be. Why do you think some of your base doesn't like you? What?
Here's the thing with unions. Well, it's simple. What is it? Billionaires got millionaires to tell people that weren't those that these things are bad. And in some cases, look, unions can be good and bad. I mean, you get the power of the unions. Like take California with the teachers union. It's so ridiculous. They run the state. Or Chicago's the same kind of thing. You can get to that point where there is no free market with them either because they control everything. Now, on the same side, when you go look at what we used to think is union, hard hat, that kind of stuff, it's also at what point in time, too, you can't afford. I mean, look what happened in Detroit. You can't afford to pay everybody not to work. Eventually, those pensions are going to run out. So it's the balance of some of those things that I think that people get worried about. And we're a free market world, and unions were great 50 years ago. We do have a lot of laws in place, but I have no problems with union. If you want to unionize, I got no problem with it. Knock yourself out. Let's see here. Of course, more horrible things about me, which is hilarious. Which is great. Okay, here's something. Voter ID.
What do you mean?
How do you feel about voter ID?
I mean, we already have the most stringent voter ID laws in the country.
There you go.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a lot. You have to have a government issued ID to vote, and nothing else.
You know what? If I got to get on it, if I can't buy cough syrup without a damn ID anymore, I you know what? I don't have a problem with that. Go show it. We move on, and it's silly. Okay, here's another one: the debt. Just the debt in general, like how, because I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody loves cuts as long as it's to the other side stuff, and they like to spend on their side.
Well, let's talk about what good debt might look like. Okay. So in Tennessee, we have a pay-as-you-go model for our infrastructure projects. So for our roads, what do you think that means?
Well, it means that nothing's getting done.
Right. Well, what we could be doing is taking on debt,
Yeah.
right? Because the cost of production and the materials accumulates over time. So if we take on debt to take out financing to finance the project in the beginning, it's going to cost way less if we did that rather than pay as you go, which is what's happening now. We have a $73 billion backlog, a $40 billion backlog when it comes to just roads. And I've been advocating to remove this pay as you go because the state can take on debt. They take on debt for capital projects. You see the capital renovations happening right now?
I mean, it's like anything. Certain debt is
good.
okay.
It's
Other
okay.
debt is not. It's like
What is bad debt? Medical debt,
medical debt,
student debt.
Well, yeah, student debt, but
I know.
we could talk about that all day.
know,
Student
yeah.
debt is a nightmare. Let's see here. A lot of people more hatred to me. Blah 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 blah. You're an idiot. There you go. You got that. Okay, abortion. They want to know about abortion.
I want the government out of the room with my healthcare provider, my clergy, and my family. Like it is I don't think government should be included in that decision at all. Period. End of statement. I just don't understand this. Like, what happened to small government conservatives? What happened to them? Are they in the room with us? Where are
the
they?
small government conservatives? That was always
Local
was a dream
control,
a long time ago.
Local control, small government, a more libertarian bent. Like those are I'm like, yes. I just don't know. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they are.
I don't think most people know where they are anymore because like anything, we're talking about small government. No, we never got there. Go look. Everybody expands government. You think the Republicans, the Democrats, they all expand government. They pretend like they're not going. Trump, for like him or hate him, we're antiquated in the way that we do a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
there's ways that we could save
Lots of red tape. Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah.
We're not free market like we thought. You want to build a house in many places. Good luck with that. So there's a lot of things that we need to fix, but government always tends to expand, and they all say we're cutting, then they hire over here. Well, they're cutting over here, but they're hiring over here.
Well, and look at Tennessee state government. Our budget has doubled in size in 15 years. That's not small government.
No.
And it's because a lot of it has been privatized. It's not going to increased programs or services, of which I'd be a proponent for, but they've doubled the state budget. That is the embodiment of big government. I don't know what to tell you.
But it's the spending, right? Like we all.
And they're not spending it on good things.
No,
that's the disagreement.
That is the disagreement. But they're hiring people. They're doing this, and everybody, of course, is getting paid. But Belle and I always talk about this. Everybody loves cuts as long as it's not to their stuff.
Yeah.
And they love to spend when it is on their stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody does it. And that's part of, unfortunately, the game we play. Afton Bain here as we wrap it up. Are you excited? What's your next thing? When can people get out? Go to breakfast with her.
Except Ray. Except
for Ray, because apparently he will try to poison her. Where can they chat at you? Where can they find out? Where can they argue with you?
So I'm on all social media. You can find my website at aftonforcongress.com. We've got a few more debates. Oh my gosh, the debate schedule has been grueling. It's been like 2 a day. But hopefully the primary is October 7th. So if you live in the 7th Congressional District and you want a cute blonde, populist blonde to vote for, go out and vote. And then hopefully we'll be heading to the general December 2nd.
There you go. Afton, appreciate you coming in today. We're going to wrap it up straight ahead. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. Wrapping up the show on this beautiful Thursday. Our buddy Matt. Matt, where are you? Out there drinking wine already?
I am not drinking wine, Chad. I am setting up for the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner that's happening a little bit later on tonight at City Winery, just down the street from our studios, and hopefully a big crowd will be on hand to celebrate our veterans, to remember 9/11. They are honoring some surviving members of the Benghazi attacks on September 11th, September 12th, 2012. So we'll talk about that a little bit as the show progresses today. But that's what we're doing out here. We're excited.
That is a great thing, honoring veterans and the people out there, especially after all the things took place yesterday, and it's been a hard day for a lot of people. And yesterday, I thought you guys did a hell of a job considering how things were going and the information flying in. You did a hell of a job, and Chris did a hell of a job today as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you get through it if your hand. I mean, it feels personal to all of us. I think if you're in this industry, but really if you pay attention to the political world, it seems to feel more personal. I was talking to somebody, I was talking to Han last night. I called him after the show just to make sure he was doing okay. And we were discussing this, and even, not to compare the two events necessarily, but it just feels more senseless than someone attempting the life of a leader, right? A president of the United States or a candidate for president or any foreign leader. You hear about these types of assassination attempts, and you can you don't understand the madness behind it, but you understand why that person would be driven to that madness. This seems more senseless, seems more personal, and I can't imagine it being even more so personal in terms of knowing Charlie better. I only met him once, but, obviously our colleague Chris Hand, I mean, our hearts and our love go out to him because I don't know that I could have done the show that he did today.
That was tough, and he had his glasses on. If you guys haven't seen it, especially the opening, it's
a hard watch.
It's a hard watch. And even I was going to say, my wife, I said, you should watch Chris, I said, and she goes, oh, I will. And she sent me this today. That I can't watch Chris anymore. She goes, because every time I look at him, I start to cry. Give him a big hug for me, because that was genuine. Sometimes in this business, you're like, that was so genuine. He was so upset and so crushed and so moved, though, by, the outpouring of people out there. But also, what Charlie and what Turning Point did. And I've been saying this, man, as Charlie Kirk, the guy that you'd see on TV or the debates, the character that some people made him out to be, that was separate from the thing I thought that was the most important of the things, which was the building up of Turning Point. And I'm telling you, man, I think Trump wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Charlie.
No, I think that Charlie Kirk was, I think certainly he is on the Mount Rushmore. If you had a Mount Rushmore of individuals that secured certainly the re-election of Donald Trump in 2024, Charlie Kirk would be on it because Charlie Kirk motivated young people to the polls. And here's the most, and I said this yesterday, and we'll kind of double down on it on the show today. The biggest affront to me is that this is a man, he was a man of very strong opinions. I hope we all have strong opinions about certain matters, but he was willing to bring his opinions into arenas that he knew would be hostile, and he was okay with that, and he would do it with a smile on his face, and he had an expectation that we can have a robust, vigorous, and even sometimes angry debate, and then we can hug and walk away from those events and maybe learn a little something about one another or learn something about ourselves. And that was taken from us yesterday. And that, I think, what makes it so personal. And for me, it's what strikes at the heart of the fabric of the United States of America. So we'll continue talking about those things, talk about our wonderful veterans, talk about the remembrance that is 9/11, and do all of those things when we get the show cranked up.
All right, Matt, straight ahead, and he's going to have some wine when he does it. You guys have a blessed rest of your day. And Ken and I think Chris and Joan will all be out there tomorrow. So come out and join us as we're across many places hanging out doing, and we're going to ride that Bobcat tomorrow. Oh, Ken and I. You better watch out.
Go move some dirt, Chad. Move some dirt around.
Super dirt. Matt, straight ahead. You guys have a good day.